leaders are readers. All leaders are readers. President Harry Truman. Has anyone heard that before? Mm-hmm. How many readers do we have in this room? It's a Toastmasters room, right? This should be an easy sell here. Reading is not something that's done everywhere. There are millions of people who don't know how to read. Civilizations rise and they fall based on people's literacy, their ability to read and communicate. Reading. I grew up in a family of readers. My dad always had a book with him. Everywhere he went, there was a book. We were standing in line at the grocery store. He pulled out the book. He's like, "Why don't you have your book?" I don't have my book. You need to have your book. We're at the DMV waiting to get our line, our number called. "Why don't you have your book?" He's reading his book. He actually very specifically picked a job that would pay him to read. He was a commercial diver, so when he wasn't in the water, he spent all of his time and sat laying on a bed, reading probably 18 hours a day. My mom was also a reader. I didn't hear all leaders are readers for a long time. The full quote is, "Not all readers are leaders, but all leaders are readers." Now think about it. Do you read for self-improvement, for education, for personal development? Or do you read just to be entertained? My mom, she read for entertainment. My dad read history because he loved history. He could talk to you about stuff you didn't want to know about. Right? Civilizations, how they were born, how they developed, what happened, who was going on. Dad, I really don't care. Dad, I really don't. That's not what they're wearing today. That's not the fashion. Reading. What does reading do for you? And this has been a meeting. So let's talk about the benefits of reading. The benefits of reading. It makes us better thinkers. It's really an effective way for us to acquire information. Lots of general information gives us a better perspective and more opportunities. It upgrades our analytical tools, our brain. It gives us better judgment because we can decipher information. It helps us with our problem-solving ability. It improves our people skills. Now remember the nerds when you were in school, all they were doing was reading all the time? Did they have any people skills? Like, how in the world does it do that? But it improves our people skills because it helps us walk into other people's stories, see how they communicate, what's going on with them. It helps us master our communication with others. It gives us language proficiency. It expands our vocabulary. It helps us relax. Reading is better than music, walking, chatting with a friend, tea, or that bud that was for you. Whether it was the liquid one or the green, red-haired one. That bud. In 6 minutes of getting absorbed in a book, your stress drops 68%. Wow. More than anything out there. Reading keeps us young. It elevates our current situation. It multiplies our experiences. It allows us to spend time with great people. What biographies have you read? Have you spent time with Benjamin Franklin lately? Abraham Lincoln? Mother Teresa? It allows us to build our expertise and it gives us an escape. Reading, all the benefits of reading, growing up in a reading family, and I didn't learn how to read. 1970s, I had challenges reading as a kid. Reading is not something that comes automatically. It needs to be learned. It needs to be practiced. It needs to be reinforced. You need to build stamina and fortitude in order to be able to read. You need to learn how to decode. So, knowing that I was never a good reader, when I had my daughter, the first thing I was going to do was make sure she knew how to read. So when she was going into the first grade, I found an ad, reading skills for first graders. Hey! I'm sold. Give me those reading skills. Immediately, I signed her up. It was no ifs, it was no ands, it was no buts. It didn't matter what it cost. She was going to learn how to read because I knew reading had something that I never had. Oddly enough, I figured out that I could read a little bit when back in the 90s I decided to teach adult literacy. And when I was working with a 43-year-old whose name I will never ever forget, and she didn't know the alphabet, I realized, wow, at least I'm better than that. So I put my daughter in this reading program because she needs to know how to read. There's no option. And then I found out they have adult reading programs. Oh my gosh, speed reading. Why not? Let's take it. And when that happened, I've opened my world. Now I can consume a book in a couple days, in a week. What does reading really do? Well, what does it do if you're not reading? That lady, Betty, who I taught adult literacy to through the library decades ago, she lived in an abusive relationship. She had no ability to really make good money. Opportunities weren't available to her. She had low self-esteem. I was surprised the lady had lived so long. She didn't know how to balance her checkbook. She didn't know how to read stop. She got around, but she was enslaved. She was in poverty for the rest of her life. You know, my dad would tell you through reading and studying about the Roman Empire that the Roman Empire believed that no one, whether slave or free, in their empire could afford to not be literate. That's why the Roman Empire was so strong for so long. Who is the most successful person you think about? Anybody know Warren Buffett? Warren Buffett said he started reading, when he started, he read 800 to 1,000 pages a day. He says if you want to be successful, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, read 500 pages a day. Because it's like compound interest. You get the knowledge and Elon Musk built a rocket, learned how to build a rocket through reading. Wow. Reading opens up our worlds. Who is your favorite person? Who's the most successful person you know? Look at how much they read. But don't read to be entertained. Be selective about what you read and how you read and why you read. And enroll yourself in a reading program that will give you the proficiency and the skills to read quicker, faster, and smarter so that you can get what you need. And the next time you're going to do anything, remember, this book's for you.